It wasn't a fight. It was just one person slapping the taste out of the other one's mouth.
Well, there's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
Will Smith's reputation suffered a blow following a well-known incident at the Oscars last year, and he has been struggling to deal with the resulting fallout. Moreover, he has been engaging in conflicts with fellow celebrities who voiced their criticism of him. Recently, he confronted Denzel Washington after being labeled a devil by him. Whether this confrontation will ignite another feud within the industry remains uncertain. We will surely get an insight into the potential consequences of their confrontation. During a recent leadership summit, Denzel Washington shared his perspective on the Oscars incident, standing out among the many celebrities who had previously commented on it. In response to a question about his role in the aftermath of Will Smith's altercation with Chris Rock, Denzel carefully crafted his words and invoked a well-known saying, "When the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong."
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong.
The incident and its aftermath have become the most significant crisis in Smith's career, and he appears frustrated by its continuous resurfacing and the accompanying name-calling. Despite Smith's public apology to Chris Rock in a video, Denzel Washington believes that Smith's behavior that night at the Dolby Theater was highly inappropriate and influenced by something beyond his control. Denzel suggests that Smith might have benefited from assistance during that challenging period. While Denzel wishes Smith peace of mind, it seems that Smith becomes angered by anyone who brings up this unseemly moment from his career, often blowing the situation out of proportion. Many other prominent individuals share Denzel Washington's perspective and assert that the incident revealed a different side of Will Smith's character. During one of his performances, comedian Dave Chappelle stated, "Will did the impression of a perfect person for 30 years, and he ripped his mask off and showed us he was as ugly as the rest of us." Chappelle further said, "Whatever the consequences are, I hope he doesn't put his mask back on again and lets his real face breathe. I see myself in both men." Chappelle's statement highlights his belief that Smith has revealed his true self, relinquishing the image of perfection he had cultivated for decades. During the Oscar, Between the Breaks, Denzel Washington was seen around Will Smith trying to relax him. It seemed as if he was more concerned about the offender rather than the victim, but the actions moved Will Smith so much that he mentioned Denzel in his speech.
Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, "At your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you."
Things looked pretty intense when Denzel, after pacifying Will, went on to have a chat with Tyler Perry and Smith's publicist. They huddled together for a while, having some mysterious chat with one another, and then after the break was over, took their seats. When Washington was asked about what these three men were talking about, he said that they were just praying for things to get settled in the best possible way. But it does not look like it was just a prayer. There could have been something which Denzel refrained to answer. He just got over this question saying,
Tyler Perry came right immediately, right over there with me, and some prayers, keep it. I don't want to say what we talked about.
Initially, it was evident to both Will Smith and everyone else that Denzel Washington was not just a critic but a friend. However, recently, there has been a noticeable shift in the dynamics. Denzel now holds a different perspective on the incident, speculating that there might have been an underlying issue with Will on that particular day, leading to his loss of control and the subsequent catastrophic event. The statement seemed pretty similar to the one which Will himself said in his speech at Oscar 2022, but this time Will seemed to be quite annoyed with Denzel's statement.
And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of him, of that circumstance, that night.
Talking about Denzel, we know that he is the one with all the wisdom and knowledge of how to behave in public. He tried to simplify the situation, saying that it was the devil who tried to destroy the party. He might be forgiving to Will Smith, but it seemed as others were not. As soon as the event happened, several actors and actresses were astounded by the event taking place, as it was the most iconic night of 2022, and all of the celebrities were gathered to find out who is the best. But sometimes things do not go as planned. when Will Smith was awarded and he was given a standing ovation by the audience. Jim Carrey seemed to be annoyed as he said in an interview.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
You all might disagree with what Jim said, but this particular incident has raised questions not only on the character of Will Smith, but at the credibility of Hollywood as a whole. Jim was not the only one who was sickened by the situation. There were others too. Wanda Sky, host of the event, said that she was speechless by the whole situation for a while. But once everything was getting settled and the show went on, she wanted to address the whole situation on stage, but she couldn't as it would have ruined the whole event. Will Smith, in contrast, appears deeply affected by the criticism he is facing, reaching a point where any mention of the incident, regardless of its nature, triggers annoyance. This initial frustration towards Denzel Washington can be attributed to this sensitivity. Meanwhile, fans express concerns about the potential long-term negative impact of Washington's words on Will's professional reputation, fearing it could be devastating for the beloved star. The situation between these Hollywood icons is undeniably intricate and convoluted, further adding to its complexity. It would be interesting to hear your thoughts on Denzel Washington and the potential influence of his words. Feel free to share your views in the comments below.